Hello, this is the Timeless Tarot, and today's reading is a love reading for the sign of Cancer. I have laid out a spread, and let's go straight to the bottom of the deck, and we have got the Hermit. So it could be Cancer that you've been hiding yourself away a little bit. Let's see what's underneath that, the Hanged Man. And underneath that is Temperance. It feels to me like you've been guided to take a bit of time out. Seeing as this is a love reading, it could be that you've taken time away from dating if you'd previously been dating, or I feel like you just haven't been putting yourself out there is the best way to say it. But there's a reason for this, and the reason is because you've been guided, whether you recognised it as guidance or not, that you needed some time out or some time away from the hustle and bustle of socialising, I think, is really the key here, in order to gain a bit more insight on a certain situation. Now, in a way, you've needed to be alone to gain the enlightenment. You've had to separate yourself a little bit from, not from everybody, I'm sure you've been going about your daily life like usual, but it feels like from socialising a bit. You've probably been doing a bit less socialising. You've probably quite liked that, I think. Whether or not you've actually been gaining the insight from the guidance, not too sure about that. Let's get a clarifier, actually. Let's just shuffle and see if we can get another clarifier there. Okay. Right, so to clarify the Hanged Man, we have the Emperor. This is an Aries card. It could talk about you trying to get into some slightly more forceful energy. The Emperor is fully aware of everything that's going on in his life and in his kingdom, for that matter. Or it could be that you've been seeking some enlightenment on a situation involving an Aries. Or this could have something to do with pride. Gaining enlightenment to do with pride. Or actually a little bit more like the way you conduct yourself in general. I wonder, do you know what? Maybe you're recognising that you've been too much of a pushover in the past and you need to be more decisive and perhaps a bit less empathetic, maybe a bit more. Feels like you need the Emperor in your corner. And I wonder if that's what you've been recognising, that perhaps you've just been too nice in the past, too giving, too accommodating. And perhaps now you're recognising that it's time for you to be a little bit selfish. That feels like a thing. And that is, of course, why you're being guided into it. Temperance is the card of balance. It's also an angel. So the balance has been off. I think you've been too giving. It's like you've been looking out for other people rather than yourself. And so you've had to have a period of time alone in order to recognise that actually you are the most important person in your life. And you demand now to be taken seriously and treated properly. I think so. Your balance has been off. You've been too giving, too loving, too accommodating, too compromising in the past, too quick to give in. Yeah, all of those things. The balance has been off, and you've realised, possibly only with this reading, if you haven't realised yet, you will by the end of this reading, that it's time to put yourself first, your wants and needs first. And so in terms of love, that would be knowing what you're worth and not accepting anything less than the treatment you deserve. Yeah, I think so. Good. Well, that's great. That's a good start. At the centre of the reading, we have the Three of Pentacles. This is one of my favourite cards. This is the card of planning, but it's steady, diligent progress. I think what this is actually saying to me is that you've been gradually coming to this conclusion. You have gained the enlightenment, but it's been a bit of a slow process, and it could have been over the last 3 years. Perhaps you met somebody 3 years ago-ish who didn't treat you very well, and it's taken you about that long to get your head back into the right space, to know what you do and don't deserve, possibly. What's crossing the Three of Pentacles is the Queen of Swords. Yes, you're now in a much more decisive action. Queen of Swords is Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, clear thinking, decisive. I think that's what that is. I think for the last 3 years, you haven't really been doing what's best for you. And I think now what's happening here is that you have decided to put your wants and needs at the centre of any love situation that may be unfolding. And so the events of the last 3 years are still a factor for you, because this is the centre of the reading. But you want to cut yourself away from those old negative feelings, I think. I tell you what, let's just get a clarifier for the 3 of coins. Well, and this is exactly what I was thinking just now, is that you wanted this connection that started about 3 years ago. You really wanted it. It was all your wishes coming true here, you thought. But now you're choosing to sever that connection once and for all, if you haven't already done so. I sort of feel like a lot of you have tried that already. You may or may not have been successful. But if you are wishing now to sever that connection properly, I think you can. Let's get a clarifier now for the Queen of Swords. I feel like there's more to say all of a sudden. Right, something's flipped. What have we got? 7 of Swords, yes, card of resistance. You didn't want to separate yourself from something that started 3 years ago. Whatever started 3 years ago was what you wanted, and you have been resisting separating yourself from that individual or severing that connection. You've been resisting being decisive and cutting that individual or that old energy, that old love energy off. Yeah, I think so. And it's been difficult. You know you should do it, but you don't want to do it because it was what you wanted. I wonder if what's happening now is that now you've gained enlightenment that your most important relationship is with yourself. You've gained this enlightenment, or you are gradually gaining this enlightenment. I wonder if what is happening now is that you are also being guided to properly sever that connection once and for all, even though you didn't want to do it. There's a strong level of resistance here, but you are being guided to completely cut that individual off now. These are both very strong cards, both very decisive, very, well, they're quite loud, I would say. These are loud cards here. You're being told loudly to sever that connection from the past. That past energy needs to go in order to bring in what is best for you. I think so. What's quite interesting here is that the Hermit is a very quiet energy. And I sort of felt when I was saying that maybe whatever that 3-year connection was, or the connection that started about 3 years ago, whatever that was, has kept you quite quiet. It sort of held you in place, kept you waiting, kept you wanting. And that's changing. Well, good. Because it feels like that really needs to change. Great. So, being decisive, brilliant. And potentially making a new plan to move your life forward into a much better energy. On the face of things, yeah, we have the card of dynamic force. Very positive energy. The aces are always divinely presented. You are being gifted this dynamic force. You've got to harness some of this power. You've got to harness some of this power now. You need to harness this power in order to get the result you want, and the result you need, and the result you deserve, actually. So aces are always divinely presented. You're being given this. I think you're probably going to feel a burst of energy, is actually what it feels like. It's going to sort of scorch into your life. Let's have a clarifier for the Ace of Wands. Oh, we got 2 there. We have 3 of Swords and the Moon. Well, the Moon is a murky energy. I should have said that actually this reading is for the next 4 to 6 weeks. This is a sad energy that you are being now gifted dynamic force to deal with this sad energy. Now, what is this sad energy? It's probably the hangover from the relationship that you got yourself tangled up in that started about 3 years ago. And so you're being given this card of dynamic force and positive energy in order to vanquish these sad emotional feelings that you've been having about the situation that just wasn't good for you. You can do it. You can heal this situation. You can move on from it. Yeah, you can. What's not clear or what is hidden in the underneath position here, we have messages, clinging on to something too tightly that doesn't suit you or serve you, and not getting what you want. This feels to me like this is very much with this resistant energy here. These cards are all cards of resistance. Clinging on to something too tightly that doesn't serve you. So it could be that you have been continually or off and on communicating with an individual from the past who has not given you what you wanted and is potentially not good for you. There's been communicating. Even though you know you shouldn't do it, you're still doing it. You are resistant to changing the dynamic here, which is a shame because you need to change the dynamic. And why aren't you changing the dynamic? Because you can't find what you want. And so you're trying to make an old energy or an old person who was nearly right. You're pinning all your hopes on them coming good and making them be the right person for you, even though you know full well that they are not the right person for you. So you are clinging on to the hope that actually perhaps they'll come good because there's nobody else. And so you've probably been in communication with this person who's not good for you because there's nobody else, even though it's made you feel confused and sad and emotional. Oh dear, Cancer. Well, yeah, it really is time for a change. We've got these three cards together here. We're all very determinedly talking about giving you the right energy to make this change. And don't forget, we also have Temperance, the angel here. You're being strongly guided to make this change. Now, only you can make the change, but you are being given the tools in order to make it easier for you. So I would recommend strongly that you utilize this more positive energy that you've got from the Ace of Wands and try and break yourself away from a past connection that was not right, that you've been thinking might be right. In the past here, we have the Fool. Well, the Fool is taking a leap of faith. But in a way, really, I think it's sort of literal here. I feel like maybe you've been foolish in the past. Perhaps your approach was wrong. As I said at the start, I think you've been too accommodating. I think you've just allowed people to take advantage of you, sadly. And it has done nothing but make you sad. And if you want to analyse this properly, 3 years is a long time to be clinging on to something that was not right for you, was not ever going to turn into the right thing for you, and has made you sad. So in the past, sadly, very sadly, I'm sorry to say this, Cancer, in the past you've been foolish. Well, what's good? I'm not going to dwell there because I've already said everything. What's good is, in the future, you have death. Now, in literal terms, you might think that going from being foolish to dead is not good. But in this case, it is good because we're talking about vanquishing and killing off an old energy. So that is great. And death also heralds in huge, wide-sweeping changes across all areas of your life, not just your love life. Wide-sweeping changes, inevitable changes that are going to happen because you are going to be decisive and take this positive energy and vanquish the old energy that has done nothing but make you emotional and sad and feeling like you're heartbroken. Now, those two cards have come about because in the past you've been foolish. You've made a mistake. In the future, you are rectifying that mistake with taking the positive energy and making a better life for yourself. I think so. Let's get a clarifier for death. Oh, yeah. Wow. Wowie, wow, wow. Getting into your best energy. This queen is Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. This is the loving queen. Now, you've got to be careful here because your loving nature has brought about a problem for you in the past. So in order to get the changes that you want in the future, to being back into your best energy, this does not involve you being a pushover. You have got, I'm going to say it again, you have got to harness this positive dynamic energy. You need to create the life that you want yourself, and you have got to kill off the negative energy from the past that is still swirling around you. This is the month to do it. Kill it off once and for all. And then you can get yourself back into some really positive energy and back into feeling much more like yourself again. It's going to bring a lot of changes for you, and I think a lot of them are going to be emotional. I think this period of time where you've been on your own, gaining enlightenment from guidance, I think during this period of time, I think what's actually coming about is you actually getting back into your best energy in order to implement the changes that are going to improve the rest of your life, because this is the future position. So big change leading to you in your best energy, which is wonderful. You can't ask for more than that. Well, you can in a love reading, because actually we want to know about love as well. So this is great. You're going to kill off the past energy that has kept you held in place and a feeling like there's nobody around for me, so I may as well pin all my hopes onto that old connection, which wasn't good for me. So that energy now is gone. Let's see what's coming in. So in the personal position, we have the Ace of Pentacles. It could be a windfall of money. It could be an engagement. It could be a new home. This is another divinely presented gift. So you are being gifted a change to your assets is what I want to say. You're being gifted a change to your assets. Or maybe it's just saying that you are feeling more abundant in general, in a personal way, which would be good. I don't think we'll clarify that. We're going to clarify this one instead, because this is in the home position. It looks like you're quite stressed at home, struggling to sleep at home, worried about something at home. So let's take a clarify here. What could you be worried about at home? Why do we have Nine of Swords in the home position? Okay. Oh, we've got two here. We have the Empress and the Page of Rods. Well, the Empress is probably the best energy that you would normally want to be in, but don't forget, so far you're having to channel your Emperor energy in order to get what you want. So here, I think the Empress is talking about there's some sort of information coming in the home position, which is causing some upset. But it is saying that you're going to be, well, we've already got you gearing up into your best energy, but you're going to be needing to harness that in some way. It could be to do with a child. This could be Aries, Leo, Sagittarius child. It's often good news, the Page of Rods. I'm going to take another one. Two of Rods. Looking out to see what else is out there. Well, now I'm thinking, I wonder if what's happening here is the fact that you can't find anyone for you, which is why you were clinging on to that old energy. I wonder if now you're deciding you need to leave where you are. Perhaps you're thinking that you should leave home and go somewhere else and look and see what else is out there, because you can't be the woman you want and start a family. There's nobody here, because the Empress is the card of fertility. I mean, maybe this is literally saying you're worried about the fact that you are not a mother yet. It could be that. It could be that you're worried that you're not a mother yet. And so you're now starting to wonder, do you need to go somewhere else in order to find the person you want? Well, let's carry on and see where we get to. In the hopes and fears position, well, this is the card of waking up. You have definitely woken up. We said that right at the start. You've had the card of enlightenment. This is the second angel. You're being very strongly guided this month. We've got two angels here. Very strong. Actually, a bit of a spoiler here. We've got the Lovers at the outcome as well. That is at the third angel. So we've got 3 angels here. There's only 3 angels in the deck, and you've got all 3. So let's have a think about this. To me, it feels like that Judgment is saying, you know, wake up and don't worry, really. And this, you are worried. You are worried that you're never going to get to have the family you want, I feel, for a lot of you younger Cancer females. That feels like a real worry. Judgment is saying, don't worry. Why is Judgment saying, don't worry? I mean, it's great that Judgment is saying, don't worry, but why? It sort of feels like there's somebody coming. Knight of Pentacles, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Any of those signs would be good for you if you're a Cancer. Okay. What I'm feeling like is that you're being guided this month to sever this connection once and for all. Because if you don't, you will not be able or willing to accept the masculine who's coming in, who could be a Taurus, Virgo or a Capricorn. So it's really important you do the work this month. Delete that number and make certain, make a vow with yourself that you will not be in communication with that individual again because they're not right for you. The trouble is, if you don't do that, you can't bring in the new person who is right for you. So Judgment is saying here, do what you have to do and you will be rewarded with an appropriate masculine who's going to be able to give you what you want, who's going to allow you to be in your best energy. Well, interesting, very interesting and good. So if you can get rid of this negative energy, you can bring in much more positive energy for yourself, which in turn is going to bring in a masculine who could be exactly what you're looking for. That's what it says so far. And the outcome, well, we have the Hierophant and the 5 of Swords. The Hierophant, well, this can be marriage, you see. So it could be that you're even looking at marriage in the future here. Then it's something serious coming in. You've got a serious offer coming in, but you've got to get rid of the negative energy first. I'm pretty sure I've done a Cancer reading like this once before. So it could be that you've been grappling with the desire to get rid of this energy and not quite managing it for a while is what it feels like. It feels like it's been a bit of a battle. You know you need to do it, and yet it's hard work. It is hard work, but you've got to cling on to the idea that something better is coming. And you've got to rid yourself of those negative energies. Well, I took 2 extra cards to go with that. And interesting, we have the King of Pentacles and the Lovers. Wow. So it could be that a younger or youngish masculine, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, is on his way. Or it could be that an older Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn is on his way. Or it could just talk about progression here. So that something might start off small and grow very quickly. Somebody might not seem ideal on the surface, but will step into their king energy fairly quickly. And that is going to bring you the connection you want. But don't forget, you've got to go through this hard bit first. We've got the 3 of Swords. That's the card of heartbreak. We've got the Moon. That is the card of confusion. We've also had the 4 of Pentacles, clinging on to something that does not serve you. We've had the 4 of Cups, not being happy with what's available. We've had the 7 of Wands, the card of resistance. We've got the Queen of Swords, knowing that you should cut yourself off and yet not doing it. We've got the 9 of Swords, being upset by the whole thing. Really upset, I think. Sadly, really upset. And struggle. Struggle to do the right thing. The Hierophant is a funny card, really. It can mean so many different things. In this case, I think it's just saying that you're struggling to do the right thing. You know what the right thing is. The right thing is to cut off that negative energy, to bring in something so much better for you in the future. You know, we've got you in your best energy in the future, and we've got a King, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn in the future, and the Lovers. You can have it all, but you have got to get rid of the negative energy from the past and any negative relationships that you're still in contact with people. Stop that straight away, because sadly, if you don't do as you're being strongly guided to do, to make the changes necessary, if you don't manage to make those changes, then sadly, this connection cannot come about. And that would be a real shame, because it looks like in the future you're going to have everything you want. Well, I really hope so, Cancer. And I hope you enjoyed this reading. Please like and subscribe so that I can read your energy more easily, which will help me to do more accurate readings for you and your situation in the future. And if you would like a personal reading, my information is in the description box below. But until the next time, this has been the Timeless Tarot. Goodbye.